Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. With me on the show is the founder, managing director of Sosai Renewable Energies, Habiba Ali. Join me as I welcome her to the show. Habiba, welcome to the show. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I want to start with something that made me smile the first time I came across your profile. How does someone in accountant who has a first degree in accountancy get into renewable energy? It feels like worlds apart. Like how does that happen? How did that happen?
Well, I think for me, it was not about the thing that I studied in school. It was more about the interest of what renewable energies could do. And, like we're trying to preach to a lot of youth now and, career ready people, mid-career, any stage of your career, that in renewable energies, you can find your niche no matter what it is that's your profession. In renewable energies, we set deals and all of that. So you need a lawyer to help you do that. We need tax consultants to help us with all of our taxation activities, help us with building our business brand, and you need accountants to help you with your back end of all of that. So, but it doesn't mean that whatever profession you have, you cannot be in renewable energies. But for me, as a business owner, how do I transit from being an accounting graduate, finance graduate, and still come and be in renewable energies? For me, it was just interest. And it was a passion to see that whatever I saw as a problem had a solution. And the solution for me at that time was from renewable energies. So it just didn't make sense whether I was an accountant or not at that time. It wasn't even in my head. I didn't even remember. I just knew that there was a problem and then this is the solution. So I just thought about that.
Well said. Well said. I think that's one of the things that drive most people. People talk about it like, okay, I went to school and I have this degree, and then I found my passion is something else, and I found I could offer a solution to another problem that was different. My background from school, my degree helped me to further take it to the next level, but this is my passion. So that's very exciting to hear. You are the CEO of Sosai. Please share a brief overview of Sosai's projects so far.
So far, like I said in the beginning, why we started was simply because I saw a problem and I thought I could also find a solution to it. Luckily, in the beginning of my lifetime, I was able to find myself with someone else, my then husband, that we found an NGO that was working on trying to promote the renewable energy space in Nigeria, because we had actually wanted to start it as a business, but we found that running it as a business in 2004, 2005, people didn't even know what solar energy. Let's even start with the simplest. The best people knew about it was that it's something you put in calculator and you use it under the lights, So that was the best people really had about it. But when we started bringing in the lights, in fact, we started with a solar cooker. And number one, the solar cooker was a pretty expensive technology. At that time, it was like 35,000, and you only cook when it's under the sun. So all of these challenges made us now look into other technologies. And so we thought, no, there's no need trying to sell. It's best to actually try to educate people more on how to use this. So in the education, we also found partners that we could work with in Germany called Learning, Helping, Living from Düsseldorf. And there we also were able to partner with another organization called Atmosphere. And we worked on the first ever United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Improved Cook Stove CDM project. Registering that made us forerunners in the improved cook stove world. But we were looking at it more from an environmental point of view. We're like, oh, desertification is happening, they're causing deforestation, let's try and save our trees. We're losing 350,000 hectares of woodland every year and all of that. So we're looking at it purely from an environmental point of view. But due to our work, I was invited to the Partnership for Clean Indoor Air Forum in Uganda. And while there, I decided to join this session where this woman was talking about the health impacts of even using non-improved cook stoves. And I found that even just by staying beside a kerosene lantern that billowed smoke, one was smoking an equivalent of 2 packs of cigarette per day.
What?
Minimum.
Seriously?
Because there's no woman that cooks for less than 4 hours a day in the villages. So, breakfast, lunch, and dinner meant 4 hours by the fire. So if you're spending 4 hours by the fire, it means for every 2 hours you're by that fire, you've smoked an equivalent of 1 pack of cigarette. And coming from a mother who was a mama put, we sold food made on the open fire by the light of the kerosene lantern, that hit home. And she talked about every other health challenge this could have caused us also, and most of them were breathing related. My late sister had some breathing related issues before she also died. And I thought maybe this was even one of the things that exacerbated her issues. And, this was 2009, she died in 2006. And so the death was still fresh in my memory and all of that. And then I wear glasses, my mom wears glasses, we all cooked together. So, and these were all effects of this. So that's how we started. And I just bought solar lanterns from Uganda, brought it and tried. So we started from solar lanterns, funny enough. And that's why I said it was a solution thing, more than I want to do business. No. It was more like all these women that still cook akara by the roadside, and all these women that are selling bread by the roadside using this kerosene lantern. That means they are smoking like 6 packs of cigarette every day without knowing. When they stand by somebody that's smoking, now they'll be insulting him. Oh, you are the way they smoke cigarette, but they're not knowing that they were even like really smoking cigarette, So I decided to start working with that. And these women turned out to be the ones who were like, can we help sell these solutions as well? And that's how the business thing started happening, And then, but luckily, when people talk about you can start a business without any financing, I always laugh because I feel that, yes, I'm a true evidence of that. And because I remember my first tranche of products came without me having money. And it was just the company trusting that, yeah, let's try this woman up. And they sent me $3,000 worth of products and we sold it. And then they helped me to access another kind of financing, which was $22,954 from Kiva. And yeah, that was just it. So it just took off like that. We started selling lanterns. And at the same Uganda forum, we met a company that was trying to start another cook stove project. And at this time, there was already a lot of rift between me and my spouse about being in the same space at the same time, every day, all of that, all of this. Yeah. So it was very easy for me to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to transition to another, let me start Sosai, so we can handle all of these other things under that and just, like take a step back from being the National Coordinator of Developmental Association for Renewable Energies then. And that's what happened. And I started Sosai. And luckily, this other improved cook stove project was a very good one for us, and we were able to piggyback on that project to sell our solar lanterns while also finding out from people, from the communities, what their needs really were when it comes to energy. And we're able to move from 1-point lights to 4-point lights to improved cook stoves, to mini grids, to productive use technologies and all of that. And so we've sold a number of solar lanterns, solar for hospitals, solar for schools, solar for, productive use technology.
Sorry, how does solar for schools work?
So, currently with the energy situation in Nigeria, schools have had to use generators as backup and all of that. But now what we're doing is for any school that we're able to work with, we replace their solutions with solar powered ones. So what that does for them is that it allows them cut down on their costs for energy. So because the kind of solutions that we use are top-notch Dutch products. And so it inhibits on their energy that they use from the grid, while also helping them to also, cut down on the use of fuel for generators. So in the long run, we're helping them to protect the environment. We're also helping them to ensure that for everything that they do, when it comes to energy, they're actually saving money. So that's how solar for schools work. And it's the same thing as solar for healthcare centers. Solar for healthcare centers is a bit more interesting because you can actually use the solar energy for refrigeration, for to keep like immunization drugs and all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs to keep the mug cooled and all of that. So it's a bit more encompassing and more interesting actually when you work with solar for hospitals. Okay. So we've been doing all of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you speak about this project just drags me to my next question, where I was going to ask you how does renewable energy work with a focus on solar, which is your specialty, of course. And do you think is the perfect alternative for the current power shortage in the country? And is it sustainable?
Yeah, well, like somebody once said, the sun does not refuse to shine on a village because the people are poor, right? So every day the sun must shine. So this is a natural resource that's so strong and, you know, infinite and can never finish. I mean, there's no day the sun will ever stop shining, at least across the world, in all regions. Even in winter, there are still days that sun will still shine, at least even if for a minimal time, it will still shine, you know. So there's no, according to what I say in Nigeria, no day, no day break, you know. So it will still be a bit bright, yeah.
Yeah.
So but the thing, what makes solar energy, you know, not very popular still is the cost. And why the cost is that high is simply because of all the infrastructure that has to go into manufacturing the panels, the batteries, the inverters for the good ones and all of that. But in the long run, when you look at the costs, currently what we have as energy that's from Nepal, PHC and whatever it is energy that has been gotten from one point and is transmitted over thousands of miles sometimes to get to us. So in the long run, distributed energy, that means energy that's closer to the people, is seeming to be the best source of energy. That's why we, in this part, we believe that solar can be one of the answers. And it seems expensive to install, but the truth of the matter is by the time you pull out the cost across the years it will spend with you, you will find that it's actually cheaper than our conventional energy. But it's that patience to wait for that time that actually makes people just say, so I should take out all of this money now and do this thing. And, you know, so it seems expensive. But the Dutch government support, that's the Netherlands government support, has actually helped us to have solutions that we can actually allow people to pay maybe a certain percentage upfront and spread the balance over 36 months. So this makes it easier for them to acquire high quality solutions. And we give a 5-year warranty on that. You know, what you currently see in a lot of solar solutions in the country also that is also keeping people away from it is the lack of, you know, longevity of the lifespan of the solutions that have been installed. Sometimes it is due to the fact that some of the installers do not know better. It is sometimes also the low quality of the products that are being installed. So there's always something that makes it not to be the top-notch solution that you want it to be. But in the long run, what we present to you is something that you can use for at least 10 years. And we give you a 5-year warranty. You can pay us across 36 months. So you have, we're traveling the journey with you. We know we're not running anywhere. If worst case scenario, if your system doesn't work, you say, okay, I'm not paying this month, you know. So, but for us to give you that kind of opportunity, you know, we know what we're selling. So those are the kind of things that make solar like, but I think that solar is the best thing to go to for community energy, because then you don't have to do all of the transportation. There's a lot of communities in Nigeria that are still not connected to the grid. Instead of wasting your time to connect those communities to the grid, why don't you just do distributed renewable energy resource? So it could be maybe if they have a small hydro there, you can actually do a hydro solution, or you do a solar powered solution, which is the most popular. And I'm very happy that the Rural Electrification Agency from strength given to them by the federal government of Nigeria is now really, really looking at how to make this happen using renewable energy. So this is a good one, because I remember 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I started this work, the government didn't seem to want to even listen to what is solar, you know, like, please carry this, your futuristic, I think it may work environmental thing, and go and sit down, you know. But now it's at least
I'm glad that you spoke about the government paying attention, because most people always say, okay, we see solar everywhere outside of Nigeria. Why is the government not thinking about it? The travel, the government is not, these are human beings that travel. It's not just a building.
Exactly. They even travel more than us.
Yeah. So why are they not thinking the way we're thinking? So I'm really glad that they're beginning to listen.
Yeah.
They're beginning to see that there's
they are beginning to listen, because yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot do what like in Germany they are doing, because they have the feed-in tariffs. So that's why you can see fields and fields of solar powered panels just sitting there and being fed into the grid, because they understand the needs of this thing. I mean, if it doesn't work, if climes like that, where sometimes they don't even have sunshine, can have that kind of faith in that solution, then you know that it works, right? But they are able to also plug it into their grid, because the grid is a strong one. But the Nigerian grid is not strong. There's been a lot of damage along the lines and all of that. So we can't do the feed-in tariffs. But then they're also coming up with newer mechanisms or let me say schemes that can actually help. For example, there's one they call the interconnected mini grid, which means that let's say community has NEPA, but it's not really regular. So maybe like one of the ones that we are working in, they have between 4 to 6 hours of energy every day. So we're going to build a mini grid around there, then plug it into the existing distribution companies' infrastructure. So we'll now have something that we're paying the distribution company as like a franchise model. We're paying them for using their infrastructure. We'll clean up the infrastructure, and this is with support from the EU through the GIZ, which is the German development organization. So by the time we now plug the energy in, they will have 100% energy every day, but they'll pay a little bit more than they were paying before, because that means that somebody else is like using it as a business and it has to pay money back.
Okay, so we're saying that this alternative is sustainable in the future. In the long run,
very sustainable. In the long run, it's the best way to go, because in the long run, you're going to have to, in fact, the way I see the future is going to be that renewable energies is going to take over, because most of the fossil fuel backed economies are already considering changing, because in the long run, it's cheaper, it's cleaner, it protects the environment, and all of these other attendant livelihood co-benefits. So with everybody clamoring for climate change, especially, climate change is still there. COVID just made it quieting down, but the climate change issue is still there. So, and most of these technologies are seen to be the ones that can actually withstand climate issues. So
I'm a big fan of renewable energy because there's such a big out there for it. There's a big market that's going to open up and create a lot of opportunities for people. So I'm a really big fan. I mean, let's not talk about what it does to the climate. People make it complicated, but when I see you talk about working using renewable energy in rural communities, that's already educating them. So something that's complex becomes, oh, so somebody in the one local community is telling somebody in the city, oh, we use that. And he's like, how does he know about that? So it makes it easier for them to begin to comprehend this technology that's coming in the future.
Exactly.
Very
exciting. It's like the like we said about the communication space as well. Before it was the rotor phone with all of that, and all of a sudden the cellular came. And luckily for Africa, a lot of African countries didn't bother to go through the journey of all the wires and all of that to do the rotor phones. I mean, it wasn't yet as immersed in the economy as much before the cell came. And when the cellular came, it just took over everything. So we didn't have to spend money on all of that infrastructure. We just plugged into the future. So the renewable energy can actually be like that. So most of these communities now, instead of now looking for money to do all the transmission lines and all of that, just quickly give them these distributed renewables. And like you said, yes, they will now be like the ones that are even more advanced than the people in the urban areas, because they will now have energy much more than the
You're very right. So, Habiba, you've had an impressive international recognition, and we're very proud of your achievements, I must say. Well done.
Thank you.
Can you shed more light on your current project that is being supported by the United States Trade and Development Agency?
Okay, so luckily, because we were United States Africa Development Fund grantees for 2 consecutive times, and our project is a bit different from what every other person does. We work at the nexus between energy, women, and agriculture. And so this seems like a very interesting one for the people at the USADF. So they've been very supportive. And one of the things they did for me just before COVID was to invite me to speak at the Powering Africa Summit in Miami. And while at Miami, I spoke at the I spoke at the event, and people were so impressed with what we're doing. But then when I came downstage, and you know how people come and try to chat with you about what you just spoke about, one guy just couldn't believe that you're doing such amazing work. But what my major problem is that most women-owned businesses end up being mom and pop businesses for the rest of their lives. And I said, well, it's simply because we don't get as much opportunities as men do, because especially in the space like mine, where I'm a woman in a technical space, people don't want to invest in me because they look at it like I'm going to use my emotions to actually kill the business or something. I don't know. So I don't get as much support. And he immediately introduced me to the USTDA director at that time. And, I told him about what we do, and he said, this is very good. So do you have plans of expansion? I told him, of course, there are like thousands and thousands of communities that it would be nice to do this kind of work with. And he said, that's exactly what they are looking for, but they need to find out first and foremost, if this is a good thing or if it's worth investing in. But the only thing is they only work with US companies. And so the award that we won recently, which is about $996,000. It's not like money coming into the company to be used to run business. It's geared towards doing a feasibility study that shows if these 100 communities are viable to do the kind of business I'm expecting to do with it. So after that, then we'll now have to start looking for financing. But the good thing about having this USTDA like stamp of approval on this project is that when it comes out on the other side to be successful or to be viable projects, it will be easier to find financiers or partners to work with, because they will look at it and say, if USTDA could put their strength behind it, then that means it's a good one. So now we then have to still, priority will be given to US-based companies. So yeah, it's quite exciting, and hopefully we still have 4 days to the close of people applying for the competitive bidding to be the ones that do the job. Sosai doesn't really make any immediate financial gains, but I mean, I would never have been able to do 2 communities feasibility studies, but now I'm doing 100. That's too good for us, because it could really mean a catalytic growth for the company.
Very pleased to hear that. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Now, my next question is, are there plans to expand your project to a broader scale? What policies need to be put in place to support the expansion of these technologies and create more employment opportunities for youths?
Of course, there's plans to expand. I mean, even just by talking about the USTDA grants, you see that's 100 communities. Hopefully, if those 100 communities come out and turn out well, and we're doing them, then we're actually seeing to do more, because once you're done with 100, then you can do more. And don't forget that Sosai is just one company in the renewable energy space. A lot of others are there who are also trying to catch up. So by the time all of us meet at the certain, like triangle, we'll have actually covered up the whole energy poverty that's, haranguing Nigeria. I see a future where there's no household you go to and there won't be enough energy to do whatever it is they want to do. Policies that need to be in place are actually beginning to happen. At the Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria, the thing is, we are trying to see that we push activities, push strength, and pull our strengths together to, ensure that the right policies are named, the right business environment is created for the business solar entrepreneur or renewable energy entrepreneur. And we're beginning to see it. I mean, with the Solar Niger, the output-based fund, the Nigerian electrification program, all of these things are actually on the ground, putting up, like measures to ensure that things are done well, companies are also credible, the right kind of standards of products are also being brought into the country, encouraging, in fact, in-country production, also working very hard to see that at the end of the lifetime of these technologies, the disposal is also very environmentally, harnessed and all of that. So yeah, things are really happening.
Okay, in terms of policy. And how do you see that
Yeah.
employment creation for youths?
Well, of course, it means that there's going to, even as young as the renewable energy industry is, it's currently recruiting a massive amount of people. People would think that oil and gas was, because oil and gas was quite lucrative and all of that, but where the oil and gas industry employ 3 people, the renewable energy industry is employing maybe 8 in comparison. Though the RE industry doesn't pay as well as the oil and gas, but the oil and gas industry really need to be paid those kind of exorbitant amounts. Who knows, right? Maybe if it was spread wider for more people, they wouldn't have needed as much money, And so, and now with the fossil revolution, most of the people in the oil and gas are now losing jobs, and most of them are coming to us and saying anything, in fact, we'll do it, no matter the pay, at least let's just have enough to put food on the table. So yeah, there's a lot of employment opportunities. I did a program one time for a certain organization exposing the kind of opportunities that are there in the renewable energy sector for career seekers. And there was already, by the time prepared my paper, there was already like 25 different places where people could play, lawyers, consultants, technicians, entrepreneurs. So there's really a large number of opportunities in this sector.
Great, because I think that I feel the same way. People see the renewable energy business and industry and they worry about what if it phases out what I've learned in school, but it doesn't. It creates another avenue for you to build on that and progress and create opportunity where everybody finds their place in it.
Exactly. And the good thing, for example, like how we do our work in the communities where women can actually be owners of technologies that they can use to resell.
Yeah,
Okay, we're doing a
that's
program called
actually
the Powered by Sosai.
that's actually my
Sorry?
question. I was going to go
Okay.
there. So I was going to ask you, like,
All right.
you not only provide affordable and convenient alternative to electricity, you provide a platform that makes it possible for the communities to grow wealth by becoming resellers themselves. So walk
Yeah,
us through
yeah.
the process and the response so
So
far.
no, most times we work with women as the people who are our own sellers of the solutions in the communities. We also train artisans who are the ones who install the solutions, troubleshoot for small problems. And so in the long run, these people make their own kind of money. Then one of the ones that's very close to my heart is the Powered by Sosai initiative, which is managed under our NGO that we started in Sosai called the Matana Rewan Sosai Initiative, which means Women of the North for Excellence. And what we do is we support you if you want to start, let's say, a business selling cold drinks. We give you a solar fridge and you pay us for the solar fridge over time, maybe a maximum of 24 months. And the fridge can live like 10, 15 years, but you're able to sell your cold drinks and pay back for the solution. We also are working with the solar dryers, which we recently got financing from FCDO in the UK. And we're doing 22 solar dryers across 7 hubs in 3 states of Nigeria. So each of these hubs is managed by 10 women. So you see, these 10 women are taken from practically doing nothing to a place where they can now actually do business that they could make some money for
Very good.
themselves. So this is something that we're very proud about
I'm
and
very
we
proud
really
of
want to
you.
expand upon. Yeah, so we're still looking for any and every support to ensure that that is growing bigger.
We hope that after this video comes out, more people will be interested. So, for example,
Amen to that.
somebody from the South says, I'm interested, I want to be part of this program. What do they need to do?
Cool.
I want to become a reseller for Sosai. I want to start a
They
business.
just need to reach out.
Into that.
They just simply need to reach out. There's a certain program we want to start now. Hopefully, we're applying for a certain big grant called the REACT, the African Energy Challenge Fund. We're currently at the due diligence stages. That project, if it comes true, within the first 3 months, we're going to need 600 on-sellers of solutions across 6 states. So you can imagine that if anybody wants to be an on-seller of any of the solutions, they just need to reach out because we're going to need more people. If we want to get down to the basics, we really need to work with more people. If we want to get the catalytic change we want to see in our communities and all of that, we need more people within the communities being the ones who are installing, monitoring. People are paying overtime. They are the ones following up with the money and all of that.
Yeah.
That way we can actually see the catalytic change that we want to see like in a very short while.
Okay. Finally, we want to talk about, I know every business has its challenges. What challenges have you faced so far? And what advice do you have for entrepreneurs looking into renewable energy?
Okay, I think I'll just pick one challenge, but there are so many challenges. And I must say this is not unique to a renewable energy business. It's simply being a business owner in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people that if you can run a business in Nigeria, if you live abroad, you can run 10 businesses at the same time. So it's really frustrating. And then in the long run, after all of this while in the port and bringing the thing up, especially for me that lives up north, and you're now deploying, then you are having default rates from the customers again. Phew. And maybe you got the money as loan from one organization who is also sitting down there waiting for you to pay regularly. The default rates that you didn't expect are happening. People that you thought, oh, I'm helping you. You now have energy to power your homes, charge your phones, have a nice life. You're not paying. It's really a huge challenge. Yeah.
I can understand. I wish you so much success, and we hope that
Thank
you
you.
can do great things. And we hope we continue to follow your career and and wish
Yeah.
you all the best. And more Nigerians can
Thank you
get
so much.
renewable energies. Thank you.
So my name is Habiba Ali. I am the CEO of Sosai Renewable Energies company. My hustle is selling renewable energies to communities and organizations for development. What is your hustle?
Habiba Ali, Managing Director of Sosai Renewable Energies in Nigeria. We hope that you got so much insight from what you've explained about how renewable energy works and how it can benefit your business. If you want to know more about how you can be a reseller with Sosai, or how you can tap into the product or find a job or career space in renewable energy, we're going to leave information on the description about how you can contact Sosai and learn more about their products. Don't forget to click the notification bell to live see the upcoming hustlers that we bring to your screen. And follow us on all our social media platforms, all at Ninja Hustle. You know what we say? What's your hustle?